Woohoo! This should be a bit down. And this should be a bit down. And this should be a bit up. I have my limiter on, right? I do. Alright. Yeah, that's good. So if I go really loud, it's still going to be limited, as per the limiter. Just give me a second, please. Give me a second. Just gotta start promoting this video. Then it'll be the video, the live stream. And then it'll be all ready. Bam. Connected the second monitor. Extreme power. Bingo, and then bango. And then turn on Steam. Sorry people who's listening to the VOD of this. If you are, why are you? I'm just going to get this. Why am I getting stupid notifications on my phone? But yes. I think it's only time that I return on the Isle after 1 whole month, 20 days actually. Play the game we've all been wanting to play. This is mostly just going to be a small stream. I've just come back from university. And I want to talk about this. I want to talk about how I feel. Mostly because this is a bit of an important thing I kind of want to discuss. Because it has, I mean, nothing too crazy. This is, you can do alternatives to this, of course. Guts isn't the main thing, but there are definitely discussion points we can talk about. And it's only small, but small stream hopefully, so nothing too much to go crazy about. But still, I wanted to talk about this because this kinda really hurt to hear this. And I think it's only fair that I talk about how I feel, because I love talking about how I feel, because I love myself, and you should love yourself as well. I think that's good. But anyways. Just going to get the Isle to load up. Please load up. Please load up. Should be working. Yeah, mate, yeah. People want me to do more of an Australian accent because, I'm Australian, mate. So, for the rest of the stream, I'm actually going to do, like, this type of voice. And then I'll see how much people would like hearing this voice. You know what I mean, bro? See... This, yeah, anyways. The Isle. And it should be picking up now. Now. There you go. That was not very good transition, but you are... Yeah. Oh well. It's getting it up. Oh, the wind. Yeah, the Isle. I know I picked the worst time to stream. That's what we do So we do, guys. Woohoo! But yeah. It's not showing, surely. Hello? Yay! I probably should be using Kevin's. Oh, maybe I should. There. It's this? I think it's this. No! Damn it. Alright, give me a second. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. You just gotta deal with it. Come on. Where is the channel server? Alright. What do they say it was called? Orion Labs, okay, it is Orion Labs. Steam! Please work! Right. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Give me a second, please. It's a bit embarrassing. But it should be fine. It should be fine. Right. One more time. One more time. Right. Settings. Then for the aisle. Yeah. I don't know if it's mandatory to have the mod loader load up. No, we'll see, we'll see. Yeah. Anyways. So I really want to start talking about this and I'm already 8 minutes in. I apologize. Oh, what was it? It was Posthuman, oh yeah. My favorite. My favorite. Oh, this is just... Oh, well, use your guns. Oh, alright. Maybe I should play on his server, because maybe I should be playing on the actual one with the actual map. That is the Isle map. Apologize for these technical difficulties. Come on. Let's turn that down. Sorry. So just so I can be heard easier. As I should be on this. But yeah. Anyways. We can now start this little conversation. Of course, so just get I'll get some tabs ready. Oh, okay, it's not going to do that. What I wanted to do. Alright. This is compiled by Jack. Jack. Sociopathic tendencies in Discord. Don't know why the loader is... The renderer is not rendering properly. Reason I'm playing the Isle while, doing this is, well, this will likely be our last look, I suppose, at what is Guts. The tunnel system that is known as the generic underground transport system. Because Why, you might ask? Well, it's important to bring up, of course, a specific window, and I will bring it up now. With this one? Yes. Hide bookmarks. Oh, don't look at my bookmarks. No. So we have earlier today. Don't know. Maybe I should make this a smaller thing. So, oops. I'll make this smaller. So earlier today, we asked. Well, I forced Serrato to talk about this. Give me a second. The door. Oh my god. What? Right. Apologies. Let's continue this. So earlier today, we had gotten information about the tomb a bit more, kinda, you know. We were asking, Serrato, you're terrible at asking questions, so. I should have just done myself up, but I was too tired. Serrato, you should be banished to Tartarus for this terrible question. You should have said, is entombment, being, you know, entombed to the tomb, is what you should have asked. Oh well. But anyways, we did get a bit more clarification. Basically alluding to tomb and entombment being basically one and the same thing, realistically. Please be quiet. Thank you, please. Thank you. As you see in this last line, you're looking at the document that's basically Dungeon Master Guide, because I don't know how to write all the information. Basically saying, you know, don't worry about the order too much, because, you know, it doesn't really mean that much. So realistically, I mean, yeah, most likely will be the same thing. Again, not the strictest form of clarification, of course, as per it always is, but you know, do what you do. Anyways, then we got this reply. I just realized that you don't know about 5.6 and guts. Sad emoji, basically crying, and then we got Buddy 5.6 dragged guts into a back alley. I don't think we can save them. This is one thing, and then after I wrote in the Outlaw Theories saying, hopefully this isn't too bad, but I really don't understand how this could happen. And then Dondi replies with, hey, same. So realistically, we have just guts. Now, we could say, oh, but what about the human buildings? What about Hello Hacker? What about good old, you know, this building or that building or that building? You know, what about this one? What then? Why? I mean, this is guts, anyways. That's not really a building anymore. What about K15? Where is good old K15? Right over here. What about K15? Why? Okay, is this gonna go as well? You know. I mean, we have this, but, you know, ignore this. Is this going to go as well? All the human buildings, all of a sudden, only the hard surface meshes are going to explode, hard surface models are going to explode, and all that stuff. Realistically, no. We can gather that. We most likely know that the buildings on the overworld are more or less fine, because only 2 days ago, not 2 days ago, 7 days ago, but that's, you know, the grand scheme of things, basically yesterday. You know, Visual Tech comes in, says we've been battling with the engine, but, you know, it has some features, and which you'll see in the buildings. You know, we know that Visual Tech is going to be part of the next dev blog. He's going to talk about the new mesh painting, where he can make each wall unique in terms of weathering and gravel, like the wall cement, gravel, blah blah blah. So you're not looking at the same cement wall for every wall, or the same mesh, like the same texture, weathered wall texture, for every single building. You're not going to need to see that anymore. You're going to see a bit more unique stuff. I don't know if it's generative in that sort of way where it's procedural. It probably isn't. Sadly, I don't really give much care about Unreal Engine 5 after its appalling release internationally and how it was implemented into the Isle. It was just bad. It's just bad, and I mean, not the dev's fault, but maybe they shouldn't have done that. Or for Nanite to be shit. Pardon my French. Like some things just don't pop out, which is great. I like when things don't pop out and don't become LODs. But the other time, there's why do some buildings not pop and why do the bridges pop? Why? Look, it's so annoying. Pop. I hate this. I hate that the bridges are the only ones that do that. Besides that one bridge. And that one bridge over there. The specific mono... Oh, crap. I've got the stupid alt-tab issue. Which is fine, you can win some, you can lose some. I don't mind too much. But was it really a benefit when LODs were perfectly fine? Who knows? Who knows? Not me, because I'm not a developer. But yeah, we have good old docks. We have docks most likely staying and stuff like this. But what the hell is going to happen with Guts? We know a lot of these places are now slowly starting to connect. Oh, we love Nanite so much, Hacker, don't we? Don't we all? All these places are starting, like, literally, the docks, tunnels, the docks have been built to, for Guts in mind. The volcano has been built with Guts in mind. We know that the hub is one of the industrial hubs is supposed to be within this volcano. Is that going to happen now? If we look back at this one, Dondi thinks that we can't save them. Does that mean... The problem is context and clarification, of course. Does he mean we can't say... Well, they can't save them forever? Oh yeah, for me, UE5 doesn't seem worth it. I mean, Gateway looked pretty on release, and sometimes you can get some really nice photos. Like, in the middle of the day in the game, this looks nice. It's maybe a bit generic. But the high-fidelity models from Visual Tech... Shit, I got the thing. The high-fidelity visual models, they complement this generic lighting. Oh yeah, but in a superficial, actual as you say, meaningful way, no way, no way. The Isle looked pretty before Unreal Engine 5. The Isle looked pretty before Evrima. Well, give or take, there have been moments in the Isle's time where it's been more artistically interesting with the art style, but pretty is subjective. But there is a level, there is an objectivity to prettiness, to beauty, in this regard, because you can tell when lighting is shit. Look at the new Skate trailer, and oh my goodness. Here, look at the new Axis trailer for Skate. You think it looks nice, but these shadows are appalling for some of these moments. Oh, look at this. Oh, whoa. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is genuinely... I don't know what Skate's being run on, but this looks terrible. And that's what happens when you get a game that is 5 years in development and its only priority is to be... it's going to be free. The only priority is the marketplace. And you get shit. Anyways, I digest. I was talking to someone and I was like, Guts tunnels and then this. I know, isn't it so fun that Guts is most likely gonna go? That these cool things that we were gonna get, all these cool tunnels. Biggest problem though with Lumen, this is so shit. Please. I mean, hey, can we degrade back to UE4? I disagree, Hacker, with that first sentence. I would argue that I've had very, very pretty moments. I can show you my folder, and it's not like cherry picking. I take photos of a lot of things in game, and I've had a lot of moments where the game has looked genuinely pretty, But of course, there are moments where the game just absolutely looks dog shit. In terms of like modern stuff, forests are terrible. In the middle of a forest, it's terrible. Like, have you ever been to Thailand? Have you ever been to a proper forest? Like, the shadows, it's hard. I understand it's hard. But that's what you get when you get with Lumen. You can't have your own baked lighting. Maybe it's just reflections that I like. I don't know. But although I have to be honest though, I suppose it comes down to subjectivity in context. Whenever I go to a human area, I always think it looks really nice. And I think, wow, like this place looks nice. I mean, it's ugly, it's out of whack in terms of like, it's supposed to be broken and all that crap. But you go to these areas and, it looks really nice. But of course, then again, the forest is the majority. And it's terrible. I would much prefer the Americans to work with what they have. You're not living in a thick jungle every day. I mean, I don't. But you're not living in a thick jungle. You don't need to do the cliche Jurassic Park thing and then run Lumen on it, which is made by Americans. Yeah. I suppose it is a very personal taste thing, but again, I feel like there is objectivity to the subjectiveness to this, and there are just some areas that are genuinely terrible. Every human area always looks nice in my point of view. There is always moments where I'm like, this looks really nice. I've never really say to myself, this looks really shit. Like, this looks really nice. Then again, there are, like, the ground texture is a bit ugly. But we're just talking about lighting here. I like the lighting. Again, yeah. But yeah, anyways, sorry bastard because you're a bit late. But yeah, I pointed that out. Sorry, I did talk about that tiny earlier, but I did say that when no one was in the stream. But I was just basically saying, all these layouts of these areas, if you go to them, originally docks, if you look at the Spiro docks, the concept of, there was no tunnels, and now we have tunnel in play, 2 tunnels in play, a transportation area. We didn't really have all that stuff, really, in the update, in the Spiro concept art for this, for their version, for its version of docks. And now if you look at basically every human environment, they're almost always, or human building and facility, there almost always is a connection to Guts somehow. You got the volcano stuff, you've got that new bunker here that has a tunnel, goes under to the tunnel. I'll explain it in a second. Bastard. All these little areas. This area has all these tunnels, which will most likely connect, in through out. It's just a shame that if we look back at here again, we bring it up, we have to highlight, I don't think we can save them. Again, we have to then say, I think I said this before, but we have to then say, is he talking about saving them for the update, for the Horde test, or saving them in general? Are they going to be fully cut? Because we just don't know from this. If you look at my reply to Dondi, or Dondi's reply to me, I said, I understand how this could happen. He says, hey, same. Still not really any clarification. But yeah. That's the thing, Tiny, that doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. I talked about this just earlier, and I want to explain into further detail now because you bring it up. But why is this happening to Guts? Why is this not happening to this? Why is... Oh, sorry, I have the... Why is it not happening to the docks? Why is it not going to be happening to other stuff? Why is it specifically Guts? Of course, Dundee only brought up Guts. But then again, we know Visual Tech said he's going to be talking about buildings in the dev blog. We also know that there was no issues that have been arisen, or 7 days ago, unless this gut stuff has happened just 7 days ago, right after Visual Tech came in and said, talking about showing off human buildings. Why specifically Guts tunnel's not working? There is nothing different. Just hear me out. There is nothing different between a rock texture model. Nothing different between the DTA texture, the texture and model. Why would there be anything different to Guts? Which I don't understand. Maybe you can bring up that, say, okay, well, maybe the only thing they've worked on is Guts, which may be true. We have seen, though, that with Visual Tech recently, he was sending new pictures about, sending new pictures of texture, of new textures, being able to change textures and stuff like that 7 days ago on human buildings that are not Guts buildings. That's the thing. This is where I bring up my schizo theory, which I brought up on the Our Law Court. And I said, I'll try to quote myself so I don't ruin my words. I have where is it? I think this is... I'll just quote myself from the Discord. I have a feeling this will be many other things. This will be like many other things in the past for the Isle. Quote unquote, we'll fix it / get to it soon. End quote. In brackets, i.e. this thing is too complicated and not coming back ever again. A few minutes later, I also then go into a bit more detail with it, and I just say, genuinely, I just think this is a way for Dondi to say, Guts is too complicated for me to actually make it good. And honestly, I'm very split on this. I 50-50. I just feel like this is just a scenario like the what do they call it? What did Donnie call it? The Deinosuchus getting to the Deinosuchus Infinite system, the Affinity system of 2018 and 2019. It's just one of those things that Dondi has realized he aimed too far to the sun. Also, thank you, bastard. Thank you. Having a good microphone can help, and it's only a $200 microphone, but that's... Thank you. But still. I feel like Dondi might be flying too close to the sun with Guts, because think about it. Let's go to the top of Gateway. Let's just go to the top. Now we want to imagine, what is Guts? Guts is basically a tunnel system. I'll do a sideways point of view. This is your map. The Ars Performance with a 12 by 12.2 times 12.2 kilometer map has decent to subpar performance just for the overworld. We have no complex human buildings besides 5-6 distinct locations which have repeat textures and models. Besides a dock, which has the most unique textures and models, which is why it's a favorite POI for me. And now think, okay, that's great. Times that by 2, and do it all underground. And even connect, even potentially Tartarus. Which I don't really think would happen in this map, but still, we know Gateway is a gateway to Tartarus, but yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot of interconnecting, a lot of mixing around. How do you make How do you make this? I don't mean to say it's too mechanically diverse, Hacker, with Affinity. I do believe more so it is, yeah, the implementation, the balance, not really the coding part. It's very easy to make a tunnel system. You're just copy and pasting. Is a lot of balance to go into play, because once you add a tunnel system, once you add, let's say, an affinity system, which would change the whole game, theoretically speaking, these things would change so much. One is about player movements. The other one connects to player movement, affinity, but is mostly about player behavior and how they should be forced to play the game. There are so many ups and downs that you can go with this, that it can be a big bummer. It's just something that is just very, very, just turn on, very complicated. Not mechanically complicated. You can easily paste, I can imagine very easily it coming to game. Affinity could very easily. Guts could very easily. But yeah, I just feel like it's a lot to change the game, because once you bring in tunnels, you're basically saying, hey, do you want a quick and easy way as any playable to go from X to Z? But what if they just make Gateway into a labyrinth? You just use a map. Use a map. It's that simple. Use a third party, or just keep on going forwards. Of course, then you're just redirecting everyone underground, from dinosaurs to human, realistically. This would have been a lot more worse if they had brought in non-Euclidean geometry, which was my biggest issue. It's so cool to have that, but yeah, it's balance-wise and game philosophy-wise, it can change a lot. Maybe for better, for worse. I don't know. The thing is, I would much rather Dondi put it into the game, Dondi tests it with us, and if it doesn't work, you remove it. Which was what I wanted 5 years ago with Evrima, being a test branch, a beta branch. Put in, remove if bad. Put back in if you fix it. If can't fix it, it no come back. Tell people, this cannot come back. For me, that's what I would have done. For me, that sounds the most simple. To me, I hope that developers in every other game studio, especially indie game studios, do this. You lose nothing. It's good PR. I wholeheartedly believe there is no bad way of doing. There is no bad negative way by saying, hey people, this is a beta branch. We're going to put stuff in, and then we're going to remove stuff if stuff bad. Of course, then people just, why is this getting removed? And I like this. Guess what? There's always going to be a community of people who just don't like things being added or don't like things being removed. But in the grand scheme of things, it's very positive. I know that might sound very aggressive, but that's what I genuinely believe, and I wanted Evrima to be 5 years ago. But, here we are. Now to read the comments. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Look, we'll most likely get Tartarus, maybe as a map, maybe as a separate map. I would realistically want the Isle as a Sons of the Forest remake. Just saying, have all these. I mean, it works. Sons of the Forest has a big thing with caves. Change this to tunnels and caves at the same time, then you have Tartarus below. I mean, it's a cool idea. The only biggest thing, as Hack would most likely say, is execution, Presentation! And that is what Horde Test is for, exactly, and guess what? Horde Test is not for that. Because Horde Test is just for stress testing. As much as we want these communal testing things, it's never going to fix. It's never going to be like that, as much as we want, because developers have their own plan, and it's nice. But we never got it with the mechanic tests. We never got it with the open beta for volumetrics. We never got it properly with stress testing. for the first one and the second one, and we'll most likely never get it for horde testing where our feedback is necessary. Oh well, it's a big shame. But, you know, everyone's wanting their own feedback, and there's only one game philosophy in the game that you're playing, so you know, you can't do everything, which is fair. Not much people, I mean, some people don't realize that, which is fair. You have to realize that developers are the final say. They are the judge, the executioner, the jury, blah blah blah. It's their game. You know, if you don't like it, I hate this, but if you don't like it, don't play it. You know, it's a bit of a shame that I have to say that, but literally one game can't be all games. Unless it's like Roblox. Kill Roblox. Yes, the Sons of the Forest and the Owl Connect. I mean, they have cannibals. I mean, I'm just saying. But probably not. Probably never. Although I would love the Sons of the Forest, the Isle game. If I was good, and if Hacker was keen on making it, but Hacker is more keen on doing his own stuff, which, you know, good on him, because you know, we all have dreams, and it's good to aim for. I still want to make... Oh, but I'm presuming, Bastard, you've played Sons of the Forest, of course, as you're talking about. I really want to make Hacker... I want to make a soundtrack, like inspired by the radio. By the radio, because I'm doing a university degree for sound and engineering. Sound engineering and design and music. So I'd love to make an album, maybe for like a hacker game, potentially hacker game. I'd love to do that. Have like shitty 2000s pop rock radio like, you know, for like a radio in the background of a video game. Anyways, oh yeah. I mean, the original vision, technically, and I had this on recording, was supposed to be just human playables. Look where we are now! Where's the human playables, Dandy? Where is it, Dandy? I don't know, but they're somewhere. Over the rainbow. This might be shifting the conversation a bit, but ever since the Elder Leagues, I realised that the way... Oh yeah, I mean... Look, and I'll address this for like you and Tiny at the same time. I don't think that's a negative thing, Tiny, having hopes and expectations. When you play a game, especially if you're a big gamer and you're young, like myself, and Hacker, I think there's a difference between the appreciation that a game like this does exist versus a game that you want to see in a game. With Hacker, you know, Hacker wants a specific type of dinosaur game. I don't think that's bad. I think we all want a specific type of dinosaur game. And for some people, I mean, let's be honest, you can never get the game that you want if you want to play a game. You have to make it. You have to make the game that you want. So you're placed on a spectrum of how close and how far away this is to you into your idealized style of game. And I feel like with Hacker, you know, as a game develops more, it always, every update, always, games are malleable because every update changes everything. Well, not everything, but games change. And maybe your standards are lower, but I don't think that, I'm not saying that you were invalidating, but I think when you're part of the community, this game community, when you're part of a community especially, you want to see the game go one way, which is always your way. I don't know, it's a bit of a hard one because it's all subjective. It's really all subjective by nature. And I don't think it's bad to have hopes and expectations of a game. I think it's a necessity to have expectations of a game. Because if once you start removing expectations from a thing, like a government, like corporations, like any sort of thing that you subscribe to, that you actually benefit them by giving them money, by giving them content, by giving them views, by giving them some sort of attention. If you don't give them expectations, they fall. You know, every society, everything falls like that because there's many reasons. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not professional in these sort of things. But you know, it's the observation we can make, and I think we should have expectations. Like I had expectations with how guts should be put in. I had expectations how elders should be put in. I'm kind of fine with how elders will be. I kind of hope that elders force nesting, but at the same time, it's like saying, hey guys, can you please be more green efficient? At the same time, they boost up the public transport fees. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. And I feel like to have green efficiency, you have to fix almost everything that could be connected to, you know, electricity and power. And so with elders especially, nesting should be improved. And the most likely scenario is we're going to get elders. Nesting is going to be a 100% prerequisite, and it's just going to be shit because nesting right now is shit and it's terrible. It's really annoying. And basically, if you see any of my elder talking, you know, every time I talk about elders, hasn't been that recently. Basically hasn't been recently. Yeah, elders needs improvements on the back end. Really needs improvements on the back end. But yeah. Meanwhile, as a 30-year-old kid, I wanted to just play any game. Yeah, I mean, when you get older, I suppose things get maybe slow. I don't know. I'm not old yet. But yeah, it's to each their own, really. And some people are just more open to a specific genre than other people. With a survival game, I realistically hate Ark. I realistically hate Rust. I hate those type of games. But any other survival game, I'm really open to. It just needs a multiplayer factor in it. But yeah. Graphically, stylistically, design-wise, gameplay challenge-wise, it just feels like the opposite. And I think that's fair. Hacker, I think that's fair. Graphically, I don't really mind. I mean, I like the fidelity. I like the art style. I don't like the lighting. I mean, as I said, I don't mind it, but... I mean... Update 4, where are you? But yeah. I can't really comment on design and gameplay-wise because... I'll be honest, I haven't played this game very much. See you later, bastard. I just saw your message. Sorry, I'm still reading chat because I'm slow, very slow. But yeah. But yeah, to each their own, really. It's a shame. And I feel like things do need to be fixed. Because no vision is perfect, I believe. No one is going to make something that's going to be the most amazing thing in the world. And therefore the community needs to be here and say, hey, my expectation is you should be doing this. And the devs are like, oh, that's stupid because, you know, that's against our vision. But some things do need to be fixed. But yeah. In my opinion, nesting is terrible still. And if you remember my comments, Hacker, I was not very negative. I wasn't negative, but I was very critical in the Artificial Discord from nesting. And my feedback wasn't taken into play. No one's feedback was taken into play. And we were just mislabeling stress test, truly. But yeah. Kind of sucks in particular because it's for the longest time I figured out the game was going to be the R. Yeah. I mean, that's where you need to make your game, Hacker. And I'll be there for it. I'll be there. So trying to find the best... I mean, there's no best game, I suppose. Hello. What? Why would you say hi? What? You gotta give me a few seconds, Hacker. I just want to read the comments, sorry. You had a tri-party statement and you were hung up on the first part. Let me read then. Um, Meanwhile, when I was yeah, I really understand what you mean by that. What I see as your point is that you're happy, you have a low, um, pardon me, sorry, you have low standards for this type of game. Genre, style, I don't know, not explained, but you have a low standard for X type of game, I presume dinosaur type of game. That playable dinosaur, that is. You know, it's been something that, as you said, you wanted to play where you could be as a kid and run around as a dinosaur. But I feel like at the same time, it's just that balancing. It's just the balancing act of how vocal should the person, how should the player be? You know, because you can't. You know, the game has a philosophy, and you have to obey. But yeah, it's a bit pain. It's a bit of a pain. You gotta. Do you just let them produce and keep on producing and keep on producing, making content, and then they see it and they say, "Oh, you're not really talking about the. You know, you're not really getting angry, so you must be loving it." You know, you need that fine balance, of course. And so low expectations do help. I do agree with you. Low expectations do help. Um, if you come to a game, you come to a movie, you come to an art, you come to a song, blah blah blah. Low expectations do help, of course. I do agree. But having hopes and expectations, in my opinion, I've just said that 50 million times. I apologize. But yeah, I like that. Okay, hacker, you join the chat. Where is the voice chat? Where is the voice chat? Which one are we going in? Are you in? Are you in the Isle Law Court? Maybe. Maybe not. I actually don't know. You are not. Because it's been deleted and you haven't rejoined yet. Because it's hard to remember to tell everyone to join. And not like there's really anything to talk about. I'll just join, Preserve. Oh, you're in my server. Oh, okay, yeah. I'll go. I'll do the thing. I'll do the thing. Which I think is fair though. I think it's fair though, Tiny. And
Hello.
whoa, who are you?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, okay. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Talk
trying to
about
figure that part out.
that's deep, man. That's deep.
Yeah, okay. So the Elder leaks, they kind of broke me. Like,
Hmm.
before that point, I was like, you know what? It's fine. As long as these things get tweaked in the future, we can still course correct. It's all good. It's all gonna work itself out in the end.
I got a
I'm sure.
goddamn plan.
They have a plan. It'll work itself out. It's fine. And then upon seeing the Elder system and hearing them kind of explain it, and then remembering how they've explained it in the past, I kind of realized, uh-oh, I don't think they know what they're doing exactly. That sounds bad, but hear me out. Okay, when they were putting together all of these core mechanics, like take migrations, diets, nesting, yada yada, the whole survival suite, they're all kind of designed with, I guess you could say, binaries in mind. It's like a yes or no. You either have this diet or you don't. You have nested or you haven't. You like it's all switches, yes no statements. There is no like actual nuance or skill expression with the vast majority of these mechanics. You can't necessarily do something that much better because there's not the mechanics in place to allow you to do something better. You're not necessarily competing to do anything to a higher standard. You're just doing what needs to be done in order to play the game. And hearing them talk about elders, it feels like they wanted it to be a very nuanced mechanic, you know, have it be based off of all these factors and have it be a reward for you surviving to a higher standard. But if there's no mechanics in the game that measure whether or not you're actually playing to a higher standard, then the only thing they can do is have it be a standard checklist of stuff in order to reach this prime elder state.
Mm.
Like, yes, that implements some nuance at the very last stage, but it feels so disjointed because they're trying to implement a nuance mechanic in a non-nuance game. And I just
You know
don't
what
think it works.
you know what this feels like? I think I kind of brought it up, but I didn't explain it well. But it reminds me where they like the government, like especially in Australia, they say, "Hey, we want to be 75% down on our carbon emissions by 2030. Please use public transport."
Mhm.
Public transport right now, fees are roughly like $4 Australian. That's about $8 American for one way.
Mhm.
And that's a local trip.
Yeah.
That's a 10-minute trip. That's $8 American dollars. That is a shit ton amount when I make roughly, right now as a part-time guy, because student, of course, I make, shit, I make about $300 every 2 weeks, which every day I go to uni, to and fro, that's about $5 every trip. That's roughly about, what, about $150? But 100, like, no, that's wrong. That's not right, maths. It's roughly, from what I've seen on my bank account, $50 to $60 every week. Or every 2 weeks, sorry, every 2 weeks, give or take. It's very aggressive, and this is not going to help me. This doesn't make me want to take, this. It's much more cheaper to drive right now. It feels like where instead of fixing one route, it's a systemic issue where a lot of these things need to be redone from the ground up rather than just saying, hey, just do this one thing and therefore you'll help the climate. It should be, there needs to be, in like the real world, there needs to be legislation so everyone is accountable. We slowly stop our emissions all, and in this case for the Isle, we all have to just redo it all, which is going to take a lot of time. But realistically, maybe I'm not right.
I think
how would
position
you
that they're in,
do it,
I
though?
feel like they kind of can't. Like, and I remember when I was talking to Kissen and Felipe, I don't remember how long ago, but it was shortly after they did their most recent revision to the diet system, and I was talking to them about like whether or not they would be willing to make any further adjustments to the actual fundamentals of the system or the core concept behind it. Felipe always said, no, I would rather this just be the final implementation of it. It's good enough as is. Kissen, I got a bit of a longer answer from, but it was more, they're like, no, the core concept can't change because this is the way it was decided to be ages ago. We approached it from this angle. We've adapted on it from this angle. It's the way it is. And that's probably not going to change. However, we are always looking to make improvements to the system that we have right now, which makes sense. But it kind of hurts because I feel like the core concept itself is what's flawed about it. Like, you can only tweak it so much without just tearing it apart and putting it back together. But either way, I had an interesting conversation with, I don't remember their name actually, but it was an Isle Court, and they were saying that the Elder system being a checklist in the way it is works because, like you were saying before, they want to incentivize you to do these certain actions. But those actions are kind of awkward, to say the least. It's forcing you to engage with these systems in a very specific way, not because that's the natural way the game wants you to engage with it, but rather because that's what they want you to do just as a game designer. They want this checklist for you to do because they would just want you to act like that in the game. But instead of the mechanics themselves being designed with that in mind, it feels like they were kind of designed at odds with it. Like, for instance, like, I don't know how to give a specific example in this case. Nesting. Yeah. Everything about the Elder system being at least somewhat tangentially connected to nesting just kind of feels like it's setting itself up for disaster, because nesting feels like a mechanic that doesn't want to be used.
Yeah.
Like almost
Yeah.
like I feel
Yeah.
like the mechanic itself is okay. Like I think it's fine, but the entire game feels hell bent on making sure you can't use it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I mean, you've heard me talk about it before, and you've heard it most likely from ages ago. I
Many
severely do
times.
not like the idea of what they've done. I mean, people use it. I think people can say they like it. I think people will most likely say, "Hey, I use it. You know, it's cool. You know, bit of that role play.
It's a novelty.
Yeah, you know, it's neat. You know,
It's something other than fighting that's human, that's like player interaction that you
yeah."
can do.
But like, it's just like you're giving me a cookie when you're not fixing the system. You're just giving me a cookie, and it's not going to help the gameplay. I mean, realistically,
Instead of making it
yeah,
more accessible to ride on the train, they're just giving you a cookie for hopping on the train.
yeah. You're putting a lot of money into that train, but you know, at least you got a 10-cent cookie back. You know, that's yummy.
Exactly.
Have a nice trip, motherfucker. But yeah, you know, it's you love it. You love it so much. And hey, I'm not dissing on anyone who actually likes nesting. You know how it looks and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like that,
absolutely.
because you know it works. I mean, it works as a system where you can nest your buddies in if you want to, or random people if you're insane. Um,
I
but
mean, I was actually
yeah,
talking with Kingfisher about this yesterday, like last night.
oh yeah,
But I kind of went through like recently. I went back and I started rereading some of my old scripts
mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a. Stop me if you heard this one before, but I'm working on a video
What?
right now, and it's in
What?
this. I know, it's crazy. This one
Oh my.
and again, stop me if you've heard this one before. I think this one actually has a decent chance of like being made,
Woohoo.
but yeah. Um, but anyways, as I was, hold on, I gotta sneeze. Never mind, I'm fine. Okay. But as I was reviewing this old script, I was kind of realizing that a lot of the way that I talked about game design, like even like a year or two ago,
Mhm.
was very, I would say, like absolutist. I was like, "You are doing this wrong. This is why you're doing this wrong. You should fix it like this."
Mm.
And since then, I think I've realized that this is not. It's not like a fatal flaw with the game.
Yeah,
Like people enjoy it.
yeah,
People
definitely,
have lower
definitely.
standards than me. They're
Yep.
people are able to hop on, play it for a bit, grow a funny dinosaur, fight some people, and then log off,
Mm.
and just be totally fine with that. I'm personally not fine with it, which is why I rant into the unending void for several hours.
Mm.
But um, I kind of realized that like this is not something that is like the game is not going to die if they don't course correct.
Yeah.
And Dondi is still going to adhere to his vision, his core game design, his core philosophy with how he goes about implementing these mechanics. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. There's nothing any of us can do to stop it. And the game will be fine. It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep, you know, being the way it is.
It will keep
And that's not a
surviving
bad
in the
thing.
Isle.
And I think it's entirely just a me issue.
Yeah, this is all
I
your
don't
fault.
enjoy it the way it is. I don't
Yeah.
think it's a good direction for the game. I feel like the way it's implementing stuff is just wrong. But that's still from my perspective and from what I believe that the Isle should be, or rather, what it could be.
Mm.
And, you know, coming to terms with that, it's just kind of been like, oh shit, I guess I'll pack up and leave then.
I think
I've
it's
been on this train for 10 years, and I think
Oh,
it's time
yeah.
for me to hop off.
choo choo. I think it's what Tiny brings up basically in the chat, where it's, you know, we've been here so long that we only want the Isle to be the best thing in the world, because we experienced it. You know, you experience when you first play the Isle, you first play like a genuinely like a solid game. You always have the honeymoon phase, and that can last for quite some time. Because I think the matter of the fact is that, you know, the Isle isn't the greatest of games. It isn't perfect, and there are a lot of things to be fixed, a lot of things missing, and it's a early access game, so it very clearly has those issues. And it's just a shame that, you know, you do spend so long wanting it to be the best. Because, I mean, hey, I've been here for so long, but for almost as long as I've been here, I've always wanted this game to be much better than it currently is. But I mean, yeah. I have a lot of hopes dying recently. There's a lot of things that are going to die. I have a bad feeling with Gen 2s all of a sudden. Guts most likely not going to come in, and my little schizo theory I have makes me really feel like, look, Dondi really wants humans, but I don't think he has the same want for humans as I do, which, oh my goodness, who could have guessed? Who could have guessed that someone else has different opinions as me?
It's almost like we're different people? What the
God
fuck?
damn it! Why aren't we all connected to the tomb, and our brains all communicate at the same time by the replicator? Dondi, why are they not doing that?
We all need to do an Evangelion reference and all merge into the same
Oh
being.
my goodness,
That's
goodness.
It's the only right option here.
Oh my goodness. Funny you say that.
I do think that I do think that, like, this is gonna sound like an asshole, but I do think that Dondi's kind of trapped in the mindset of this is Daisy with dinosaurs. Because it feels like a lot of the mechanics that he implements, I'm not denying that they're very innovative. In fact, I mean, I shamelessly steal a lot of them. But
Goddamn.
like, it still feels like they're all implemented with the idea in mind of it just being Daisy. Like, I mean, okay. Even going back to just what is a fundamental part of this game? It's open world. You know, you can go anywhere, do anything, be whatever, no matter what. Is that best for the game? I don't know. But is it best for something like DayZ? Sure. It works very, very well in DayZ. And I think he's just kind of doing that. Like, I don't know how, like, off the mark I am, but it really does just feel like he's kind of doing what he feels is best in order to achieve that, you know, DayZ but with dinosaurs goal.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
need to
kinda
play
worried that
DayZ.
It's leading it down a road that's not, you know, for the best, I guess.
I want
The Isle.
I want it now. Yeah. What can you say, honestly, other than I kind of always wish that Evrima was just a big oven of testing stuff, you know? See what works, you
No
know?
kidding.
I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but I'm most likely going to say this until I die. Because that's when the Eye will get out of early access, when I die.
True.
Yeah. It's just a shame. I mean, it's not really a shame. It's just life. It's just life, and woohoo.
Hey, we're in this fucking hole together, and, you know, we're not getting out until we die.
Oh yeah. Look, I know all I'm here for is, I'll be honest with you, I've basically given up on the game in terms of gameplay. I don't play much. I haven't been interested in playing this game ever since 2022. 2022, right, basically. As soon as 2023 hit, I kind of just lost interest. I don't really mind.
Update 5, right? Hold on, I'm getting my timeline wrong.
You're probably guessing that right, because you can probably guess what happened in Update 5 and Update 6. They made the goddamn game ugly! And also nesting hurt my feelings. And then gore hurt my feelings. Skin system.
I love the skin system.
Can the skin, please, skin? Look, skin, I feel like skin's okay. I'm
pretty radical when it comes to skin systems. Like, I'm talking like to crate levels of I hate the skin system.
I wish they brought the system where servers can just say skins on, skin off, or have a setting on settings where you can turn it off and on. I don't know why they don't. They want all this.
Colors, disable certain colors, enable the sliders, disable the sliders.
You probably can, but that comes with a lot of modding the game files, or modding your server files and stuff like that, and that's really unreasonable to be asking of that. I really just want, hey, I want to turn this off so I can see everyone in the normal dinosaur attire. I don't want to see this weird-looking white hipsy, this white-looking zebra hipsy. I don't want to see that. I just want to have
I'm loving
standard.
that neon blue with black
Oh
stripes.
yeah, my favorite. Oh yeah. It's just, I mean, it's fun for some people. I don't know why people all of a sudden are bob-phased with the Isle skins now. Every photo I see is like a pink Tenno. I'm like, why?
I know.
What?
It's like,
How does this look interesting to you? It looks ugly. It takes away the fidelity, and the
stand out.
skins are so painful. They've ruined the skins, like the skins fidelities, after update 4. And how could you have a pink Tenno and say this looks nice? But hey, subjective nature. But like,
subjective.
at this point, let me turn it off, please. Let me turn it off, please. I don't know. That should be a given, in my opinion.
I was
but
horrifically
yeah.
disappointed with the option to disable migrations, because it just doesn't really do anything. It doesn't like set it to like normal regional spawns. It doesn't give you any like control over it. It's just, hey, there's no food now.
Oh,
Have fun.
okay. Can you just turn off AI as well? Just survive the Isle, please. Actually,
Surviving off
can
of
the
other
Isle, can the
players
AI not
instead of
work?
AI? What?
What the heck? It's like that one guy
You mean-
from YouTube.
Wait. What you're saying? Are you saying that you want a player-dependent ecosystem where carnivores consistently feel the need to hunt herbivores, thereby giving herbivores enjoyment of being constantly hunted? Is that what you're saying?
Goddamn. Maybe I
What
am.
the
Maybe
hell?
I am.
Well,
But-
the Isle's not going to
Yeah.
do that, so
No. Please, waiter, can I have a Dino AI? Thank you. Thank you very much, waiter.
no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm
Look,
waiting for
yeah.
more AI, please.
Oh, thank you,
More.
thank you. Can I have the balls with the?
More, please.
Can I have?
The best I can do is sea turtles.
Oh, sea turtles. Can you make the custom asset, please? No, thank you. You will get marketplace here or there. Yeah, I mean, for the shits and giggles aside,
Yeah.
yeah, I've talked to you before about player-driven ecosystem.
I changed
Ooh.
the wording.
Play depend. I like that. And yeah, it's just not the Isle anymore with like that direction, and it's a bit of a
No,
bummer.
it's absolutely not.
Where's
They're-
yeah? Where is it? I don't know.
When I say the game's in denial, I more refer to the game feels like it wants to just be like an open world PvP game, but it's constantly trying to be like, no, we're hardcore survival, guys.
Look, we don't
we
like
don't
the
do
streamers that
PvP
talk about the PvP. We don't like
Yeah,
those
it's like-
guys.
I listened to the streamer and I'm like, okay, he's dead wrong, but like he's kind of right though. Like he's an idiot, but
Yeah.
I mean, the game is kind of shoehorning you in that direction.
Yeah.
Exist as a dinosaur and that's it can only take you so far.
Yeah. I suppose it's definitely novel for some people. It's a nice little novelty that people can really enjoy. I mean, that's why Legacy blew up basically before
I mean,
Evrima.
that's why I think Evrima is just going to continue to grow.
Oh,
Like, I think
100%.
it'll just be fine.
It'll be Evrima and Path of Titans, maybe Islanders game. Look, I have
Legacy
nothing nice to
expansion?
say about Islander because of past events. I don't
Same.
really care anymore. I mean, I hope the game the best, but
Hey. Some of the team members are pretty chill though.
yeah, I mean,
So
that's cool. That's I just don't like. I'm just not. I don't like is not nice. I should say I'm not a big fan of him anymore. Just because of that stupid response about, why would you take my stream when the stream was for free on Amarok's Twitch? It's evident that you did. Why? I don't know. Just give me an answer,
Anyway,
Islander. Oh. Anyways, yeah, Path of Titans, the Isle, they'll all grow and stuff like that. Maybe Islanders game as well, depends on... Yeah,
Primeval
I'm just not a big
Horizon
fan.
as well. That is something
Yeah.
that exists.
Yeah. Beast of Bermuda. They're doing stuff. I mean,
Bermuda.
they're cool, I suppose.
They're all right.
Yeah, no, not too bad.
I do think that like, just objectively speaking, Base of Bermuda has by far the most amount of like effort put into its just game design in
Mm.
general.
It's fun. It's not supposed to be high fidelity, hardcore die and you lose everything type of game, you know?
Yeah.
Like The Isle, it's not going for that hardcore survival, it's going for a bit of an arcade, which is actually,
Even
you know...
stuff like the comfort, the like talent tree, the like the gauntlet past like 1.2 or 1. Yeah, that like once you grow past a certain point, you just grow exponentially and you just starve.
Yeah.
That's
It's fun and it works.
It's
It's
neat.
fun and it works.
The game looks like shit. It's unpolished. The movement is bad. The lighting is worse, and it's just
Light's
overall
okay.
kind of a mess to play. The UI is
Oh.
eye-searingly bad,
Oh.
but I think it has heart. You know.
You got spirit, kid. You got spirit. You may not be able to sing, but you damn look like a singer when you sing, despite sounding like a goat.
I know a few people who are looking to join the Beast of Bermuda development team.
Really?
And
That's cool.
I've been whispering in their ears, "Hey, why don't you do this?" Kind of fun.
Come on, guys. Oh, but yeah, you love it, you hate it.
Yep.
Isn't that always the case? Where is the Isle MMORPG that I was promised? Alderon Games. Where is it? I want the story. Where's the lore?
You know just as well as me that MMO was just there to get people to buy it. It's not actually like...
Guys, we can play on the phone. Please be nice
It's
to
kind of like
us.
saying that, oh, we're also a hardcore survival game.
Yeah. We're also releasing the
Yeah,
thing that
sure.
the Isle announced. Oh my goodness. See this thing the Isle just announced? We're just going to make it. We're just that good.
Dude, I
We're
think
just that fast.
The funniest one of that was during the camera drama. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're releasing this new ability that lets you widen the angle of your camera."
Huh.
Like really, really, guys?
Really?
Come on.
It's a funny relationship between those two games.
Yes, the games, not the people.
Yeah, definitely not the people. Not the people, Dondi. Yeah.
No, of course not.
Ah, you love it. Oh well.
You love to see it. Yeah.
As they say when in Rome. When in Rome.
Dude,
Yeah.
I really gotta like lock in and get the like roadmap and development plan for hunting game project number 2430 done.
You need a cool project title, you know? All these games have, I think I talked about this before, but you need cool Project Deathhorn, Project Rome, and all these ferocious. Oh my god, that's a good name. That's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, jokes aside, I think you should, so you don't have untitled hunting, whatever the long title is that you could give it.
Dinosaur hunting game.
Woohoo! But yeah, I think I really want. Yeah, I really want to start thinking about doing the sound, like that soundtrack thing I was talking about. But at the same time, I just feel like if I make like half an album's worth of like 2000s pop rock with a bit of like radio voice, you say, "Well, I don't like this." And I'll be, "Oh, no, I'll have to have all these songs." I don't know. I was just
Worthless. We're gonna be removing you from the team now. I'm sorry.
no,
Goodbye.
please,
Good luck on
sir.
your future endeavors.
Oh, thanks, pal. Thanks. But
I
I was
think
just.
it'd be really funny, so I'm like so down. So-
Oh yeah. I was just listening to the soundtrack to Sons of the Forest, and I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do it because it's just, I don't know. It's just funny. It's just funny. You know.
Believe it or not, one of the biggest inspirations as I was writing out the music part of the design document was actually Pokemon Black and White.
Oh, really? I haven't. Man, I
Yeah.
haven't played that game in ages now.
It was
God damn it.
it's how they do their like music while you're like walking around. I don't mean like the vibes the same. No, obviously not, because that's that's a little whack. But more in like the different types of like instrumentation and stuff changing dynamically based on like what
So
you have
much more
enabled, what
easier.
you're doing, and whether or
Oh,
not you're
yeah.
like walking.
And this is supposed to be
Like, for
single
instance,
player,
they
right?
have like a they have like
Yeah,
a
so
drum
it's so much
playing in
nicer.
the background whenever you're like walking around, and it
Mm,
just adds into the music like seamlessly.
mm.
But it's pretty neat.
There are some nice ways you could do that. There was a guy. There's a game like a world, like a game, like a god game. It's called The Sapling, I think. Yeah, The Sapling. The developer, he knows how to play trombone. He makes music for the game, and the game has one. It's a bit repetitive, but it's nice because it's a simple game. But you know, you can expand that crazy in terms of like a open world-ish type of. Yeah, when I say open world, you know what I mean. You know, that closed. Oh yeah. But he, you know, because it's just one world that you're creating and stuff like that. It's one theme that changes instruments or expands like the timbre, so like the quality of the sound, not the fidelity, but the instrument families and stuff like that. If you know you're underground, it goes to very like bubbly style motifs while playing the same melody. If you go into the space, it's got a bit more of a spacey vibe. It's like, I can probably give you an example, but it's a bit hard because I haven't played that game in a bit. But I remember him talking about it in a dev blog that he made. And I can imagine something. Would you imagine something where, I don't know, maybe you're in a specific environment and there's only one theme, and it maybe changes. I don't know. I don't know. It really. There's so many ways you could do it. I suppose.
Change based on like the types of species around.
Types of species, environments.
Let's say that you're.
What you're wearing,
let's
maybe.
Say that you're in like an environment like in the middle of the night. Let's say it's like, yeah, it's the middle of the night. It's super cloudy. It's starting to rain, and there's like majority like carnivores surrounding you. Like it would play in a very like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not a music man. Speak music man, but
music.
I don't know, like a very like droning tone, like you know, kind of like the soundtrack for Voices of the Void, like very eerie. Meanwhile, if it's like, you know, same environment but like, you know, it's only herbivores, it might play like a little bit like, I don't know, more relaxing, not like jazz, but like, you know what
Why
I mean?
not?
A shift in the tone to reflect the, like, you know, actual intensity of the hunt.
Honestly, that type of stuff, really easy. The main priority really is just, if you want to make it seamless, all you got to do really is just keep it in the same key and just play around with that. You know, I was...
And just make sure to line all the tracks up.
Yeah. I suppose it comes down to a programming side, which I would like to learn.
Oh boy, I know nothing.
Oh yeah, I suppose there's courses out there for free and for paid. I really want to get. I sent you a message before about 3D modeling.
Hard surface modeling.
I would like to do something like that. Get a course that gives like an actual certificate, but for sound design for programming in games, because it's not like a university degree, but it's like a 1 semester long course.
It's a very specialized thing that you would want, like, especially if you're like maybe like a AA team, you would want to have a dedicated guy for that.
Oh yeah, and having a certificate just to say I've worked on this stuff before, I feel like I should try to get. It's not a university degree. I mean, I'm already getting a degree, so I don't have to worry too much. But diversifying stuff like that, I kind of want to do. But I can really imagine what you're talking about. The only thing though I would ask as like a theoretical composer and sound designer would be
please, go ahead.
If you were like if, in terms of your want for it, would you have it where it's, let's say you're in a redwood forest. You have the two scenarios that you talk about. One, nighttime, carnivores all around. Maybe you can't see them, but the game knows, which is good. Good thing about single-player games, you can do dynamic stuff.
You have full control over that.
Yeah, and that's what I love. Single-player games.
I'm still kind of up in the air about co-op because it would make the game development so much harder.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of fun.
It would be pretty fun. And I mean, in terms of sound, I don't think it would really affect. The only problem
probably wouldn't affect much. Yeah.
The only problem would be multiplayer, like they
are
are
on the other side of the map, and then you're
Yeah. But yeah, I'll go back to I digress. Back to the thing. So we have the two scenarios. One scenario, the redwood with the carnival. Other one is middle of the daytime. Maybe there's a juveniles around you, and you can see them. Maybe you can't see them. Who knows? They're around you.
These guys scurrying around. There's a
Oh
bunch of
yeah,
like small little guys. Yeah.
there's two ways you could do it, which I would ask if how would you like it to be done. It really, which can be really cool, can be really bad. It just depends on execution, of course. One way would be one. Pardon me, sorry. You have one main motif. When I mean motif, I mean like a main musical idea. Like how if you think of Jurassic Park, you always think da 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 da. Of course, that's cliche. Of course, if we were to put that in there, but when you think of when you think a lot of IPs, if you think of the sound wise, you think of that motif. So when I'm talking about the motif, I mean
core motif from
a single chord or a single melody. When melody like la da da, or like you think of Beethoven, you think Fur Elise, da 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 da. That's a melody because the melody is just how it's just like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to explain,
And then
but
the motif is like a melody that recurs across multiple.
yeah,
tracks.
that's your basically a theme, but it's better to it's better they mostly just call it motif for the ease. So one way you could do it, you can have one motif. This is both in redwoods, but one motif for the redwoods forest that changes depending on daytime, like the time of day, and also situation. Maybe also other elements. You would have to give me a list of documents, a list of what you want to change and how. But what do you mean? How do they change? Like, what changes? The most important part is what you hear in terms of the timbral quality. When I mean timbral, I mean the specific instruments. Like you said, like that droning sound for nearby creatures, I suppose, like nearby carnivores at nighttime.
What was the thing at the end of the Hope like OST? You were like, it's like a really slowed down, like pitched up or pitched down choir, right?
Yes.
Something kind of like that.
Yeah.
As like a general motif for like nighttime, or like I guess nighttime in the middle of like a forest, like some where you should feel a little uneasy, or and if there's like heavy fog, it sort of has that more like ethereal aspect to it.
Yeah, I mean, that'd actually be really cool. That actually is like I'm imagining that now. Middle of the day or middle of the night, you're in the redwood forest, or theoretical redwood forest, and all of a sudden, a bunch of fog comes in, and instead of it just being a single person just singing like gently, it's now choir in stereo, hitting your left ear and your right ear, or however you want to mix it. But it's broader, it's still low.
I was messing around with the sound design in Unreal Engine 5, and you can do like positional based, like have it like shift from right ear to left ear to front to back, and you can even have it be like static in the world. So if you turn your head, it's like can go from left to right based on where your head is turning.
Ooh, that's cool. I mean, hey, that's what I want to learn. I want to learn how to do the Unreal Engine side of the sound stuff, but that comes in time once I finish university, or maybe once I'm on my break. But so the first idea is, would you like to have a motif? Maybe like the motif could be dun 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 dun, and then maybe for nighttime that motif slows down. Maybe it slows down. It's maybe only a choir, maybe only an orchestra, like only like a very, very low rumbling, like that one
like
aisle
like
track, even a hum,
like more of a vibration than an instrument.
But you got maybe the melody is slow, like the motif is slowed down one note at a time, and then at daytime it's still that same motif, but it's maybe lighter. Dun 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 dun. I mean, that sounds a bit of a cliche motif. It's a bit hard to explain without having a thing, but you could do that, I suppose.
I think I can visualize exactly what you mean.
I'm not really describing it very well. I'm not giving it the justice, but
I know.
it realistically elements would be added onto it, and then when something happens, and then elements will be added off to it when something doesn't happen, if that makes sense. Which it's a bit of a big project.
The track I sent you in DMs a bit ago, the acoustic guitar one.
Yes, I did listen to that one. Yes.
Okay, I was listening to that, and I kept thinking that is like a perfect, like, absolute pristine pristine environment. Like you're not really all that threatened. You're just kind of running around. Like you're just
Yeah,
goofing.
yeah.
And specifically like the idea of like a I really don't know how to describe that type of like instrumentation, but the acoustic guitar,
Mm,
I guess, strummed in that way with the very like higher pitched or yeah,
mm.
plucky. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the music man.
Right, right.
Um,
It's a bit
yeah,
plucky.
yeah.
I think.
But
I
something
think.
along those
Yeah.
lines being the general like vibe during like
Mm,
I suppose like clear weather during the day, like stuff like that,
mm,
or general times where you're just it's more vibey, especially with the graphical presentation of the game being more in line with something like Firewatch than like photorealism.
mm,
I think leaning into just the like atmosphere of it with the music and being a little bit more, I guess, non-standard with
mm.
it.
Ambient.
Then again, I suppose it would make more sense to get a good grasp on the core than before being
Mm,
non-standard about it. But you know what I mean.
mm. Oh, now I want to do something. No, the only problem is I wish I could play guitar. So, I mean, doesn't stop me from using a scoring sheet and getting someone to play it for me. But I would call this song this type of song. I think they call it down tempo. I would say like a bit like a folk, almost folkish, a bit like a bit of a Wild West feel to it, but like a very lonely Wild West feel. As you said, like Last of Us
That I
feel.
mean that kind of pretty accurately describes like lonely, but Wild West.
Would you have? I mean, in the song, I'm just listening to it again. It has like a beat to it. Would you have a beat to it, or would it just be the guitar? Because I mean, a beat can be.
I do think that a beat would definitely work, especially if you're not really in like a high stakes scenario.
Yeah, just walking around
Playing, you're
trying to live.
just running around looting buildings, doing whatever.
Mm.
Yeah.
But hey, that I mean, it's neat. I still kind of really want to have a radio of really shitty 2000s fake pop songs, but still, in terms of like a main soundtrack.
10%. It gives you a 10% buff to like your score. You play the radio.
Please, please, please. But still, I really would like to have
really
that
like what we
vibe.
were talking about before, having like a different radio track for each like NPC to kind of
Ah,
show
yeah.
their character or personality.
That reminds me a bit like the Outer Worlds. Is that what it's? Oh shit! How have I? I'm
Outer
playing
Wilds.
Outer Wilds. Sorry, words not my friend recently, as you know. Um, it has that like where you go to the that like a random like one of the people on like the outcasts. I can't remember what their names are, like what their specific names are, but like the person by themselves at a campfire. They've always got a specific radio playing and just like their own instruments, something like that. But an actual song, I suppose, would be interesting, or songs plus. It'd be interesting. I'd like to do that. I mean, I have a sort of an array of abilities with my musical diversity. It goes from like classical to piano rock to like more of a. I really like my electric keyboard chill style music. I can do a bit of a jazz, a bit of. So, I would like to do that radio thing, but I think the main goal for me, whenever we start doing this properly, is getting that maybe not a main theme, but a main idea, concept song that I would make theoretically. That would be, hey, this is the vibe, this is the style, copy the style, now make it a bit better, please. Or you ain't getting paid this afternoon. Right. You ain't feeding the kid
Well
tonight,
played.
sonny. But yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's will be something in the future, I suppose, because it takes time. All this fun stuff.
Indeed.
And it
I
also
wanna
depends.
start with like the like iterating on like the just fundamentals like as soon as
100%.
possible, but I don't
Yeah.
know how to kick it off. Like
Make a
I've just
Kickstarter,
been
man.
kinda sitting back twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Where do you start? Truly, where should you start? That's a good question.
I mean, making a development plan and posting the design document for everyone else to see.
Oh yeah. But yeah, once you start doing that, hmm?
The hardest part is going to be like getting models and animations. Like that was
Yeah,
that was always going to be the hardest part, no matter if we were going to start with Preserve or this or whatever. But just God, getting creatures and animations just in is going to be a nightmare.
Hmm.
An expensive nightmare.
Just use a marketplace assets, man. Some free marketplace assets.
On free dinosaur marketplace assets. Oh, that's.
Uh-oh.
I don't
Uh-oh.
know about that one, Chief.
Maybe, maybe not. Yeah.
I don't. It's interesting for sure. It's
I think, yeah, and that's the thing. How do you get people to do this? To do that for
I
us or
can
for you? I
talk to
mean,
Clay, but like, I don't want to make him work for free. He's too good for that.
yeah, that's the problem. And then you gotta, I mean, and that's where I'm like, kind of have to have like a Kickstarter or something. But
You
then
don't
it's
really have
just,
anything to.
where do you start? Like, where do you, how do you, like, when do you say this is Kickstarter worthy, and I'll show everyone?
Yeah,
And this is the moment when Steam said,
that is the
early
question.
access, let's make that a thing. And then that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would actually be a feasible idea to jump straight into like just with like placeholder assets. It can just be like a bunch of boxes stacked on top of each other to represent like a Torvosaurus or something. But I wonder how feasible it would be to get like not procedural animations, but like saving us as much work as possible with just
Yeah.
like autofill. It's like
I
I don't
mean,
know how realistic that is.
yes.
Hmm.
Uh, honestly, it's just hopefully, once it starts, it just keeps on going in terms of the game, in terms of Untitled, blah 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 game.
Untitled hunting game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Untitled, yeah, hunting game.
I mean, I still think the most effective marketing strategy would be to just like do like I don't know, like by day, like every other day, dropping like a GIF of just development footage,
Yeah,
just to show,
yeah.
hey, we are indeed working on stuff. Like I know, shit, I forget what the game was, but it was like a stylistic Fox game where you ran around as a fox, and they did that, and it worked very, very well. Just like posting regular GIFs of just like gameplay footage or getting the style down, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Ah,
Gaming.
I love it, man.
Man.
I just wanna start the soundtrack all of a sudden. It made me want to do it now, and I just feel like I don't know how to begin. That's the biggest. I mean, that's exactly, I suppose, how you feel with the actual complete game. How do we start this properly?
How do I get there?
How do I do it? I want to do it now.
Or worse,
Ooh.
scripting. How do I go from script to video? Just
Gah. You have
been
gotta
recording
just
it.
speak. Just speak, man.
Just
Yeah.
talk, man. It's so easy.
Is that shrimple? Shrimple's that?
It's that shrimp.
Oh yeah.
One thing I've been meaning to discuss with the team, the crew, the lads,
Uma.
is kind of what order to do the games in, because it all takes place in one story as far as I've written.
Hmm.
And Preserve is the starting point. It shows the I guess it represents the build up to the catastrophe that leads to the world kind of going to shit. Then from there, it's
Isn't it already in shit? Just saying. Sorry.
well, let's just say society.
Whoa.
But I know, right? But and then from there it goes to Untitled Hunting Game, which is just kind of the beginning of the like biopunk setting and like society reestablishing itself and reclaiming the wild, and people are going out hunting stuff to fuel their homes, stuff like that,
Hmm.
to feed their families and fuel their buildings. And then from there, I keep having the idea of the more like Soulsborne hunting game with
Hmm.
the or Souls-like hunting game with like it being a full single player campaign that you go through. And then from there, I was also like, I'm still flip flopping back and forth on if I want to do like a Half-Life esque prequel or like in between all this, like a Sons of the Forest esque like survival game
I
or
mean,
something along those lines. Well,
I mean,
uh,
I would love that. I would love it. But yeah, honestly,
but and
yeah.
all of this coming together, because originally, I think I accidentally glossed over my point, but the current Untitled hunting game was originally going to be the current Untitled like Souls-like hunting game.
Hmm.
Um, but now I am heavily considering splitting those into two different games entirely.
Oh
Uh,
no.
because the tech demo that I've already designed, that I have written out,
Hmm.
and the finished product that it would eventually turn into feel so completely and utterly fundamentally different that I feel like releasing one and developing into the other would be kind
Be
of a
different, yeah.
just a big fuck you if you actually enjoyed the original.
Yeah.
But just developing it as a standalone hunting game, kind
Hmm.
of, it's honestly it's pretty arcadey, kind of like a like Carnivores HD or just Carnivores in general.
Hmm.
Um, but presenting it like that and presenting that as the game might work a bit better than trying to develop one into the other. Because originally the tech demo was just an easy to develop foundation to get the fundamentals done. But gradually, as I was working on, like, dude, this is kind of like its own game.
That's hacker. That's hacker. Potentially hacker. Man.
But I don't. But I don't know if it would be like a scam.
Scam.
To,
No,
a
honestly,
scam
yeah.
to like, because it would be using the same creatures. Like, I'm not gonna force. Look, I love Clay and all, but I'm not gonna force him to remake all the fucking models
Please.
just to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make him go, hey, buddy, look, we're releasing a sequel and we kind of don't want to copy the assets. Can you just remake every single one of them from
Putty
scratch?
please.
Putty please. No,
With
I'm
a cherry
gonna
on
use the
top.
same assets. I'm gonna use
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
guns. I'm gonna use the same probably environmental assets.
yeah.
I'm probably gonna use the same cell shader. Probably gonna use the same outlining, same stylization. Probably gonna use a similar color grading. Like it's gonna be pretty fucking similar. But but like I don't know if that's like a bad juju to
Just, I
to
mean,
make it like a it's because it's not an asset flip, it's an asset clone.
yeah.
It's a,
I mean, you could make it theoretically like a. I don't know if this is like a dumb idea, but you could do it like that as a DLC that completely changes the game when you play that DLC. Maybe, if you select it.
The
I don't
thing
know.
is,
It's like two games in one if you do that. I don't know if that's too.
to be fair,
Yeah.
there is a little bit of the money grubber inside of me being like, two games.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
doing it as a DLC and connecting them in that way might
it could
not
work.
be a bad idea.
Mm.
But that might feel a little bit weird to have this tiny little tech demo game and then the DLC be 17 times larger than than the actual game.
Hmm. Shit.
Because that would also kind of be a disservice to the game itself to just
Yeah.
call it a DLC.
My apologies. I have a student who has just come in. I have a piano student, and he's just rung the doorbell. I'm so sorry. Man,
Okay,
I wanna continue this chat. I was actually like thinking of the game, and I was actually imagining it. I'm coming. Sorry. I'm coming in seconds.
Okay.
I'm going to
Bye bye.
end the stream. I'm sorry, Hacker. I'm sorry. Thank you, Lemmy.
I'll leave
See
you
ya,
to
Hacker.
it. Bye bye.
Fine. I'm sorry. Alright, sorry stream, I have to go now. Thank you very much. I'm not gonna do the good night thing. Thank you.